Welcome to Broken Soldier 101. I don't know where to begin, so I'll just state the purpose of this podcast. My objective is to connect with other veterans suffering from the effects of PTSD or other mental and physical ailments caused by traumatic events that occurred during their time in the military. I am not a physician or a psychiatrist. I'm a Vietnam era disabled veteran who can identify with the many sufferings of vets because of my experience of going through the same. This platform is not limited to those diagnosed with PTSD alone. I wear many hats of self-destruction. I've been homeless for years at a time. I have slept under bridges, on park benches, and rode the subway for shelter at night. I washed up in public bathrooms like McDonald's or Harlem's hospital emergency room. I carried with me a severe drug and alcohol addiction for over 40 years before finally admitting that I couldn't change without help. I needed to humble myself and accept advice, a very hard thing for me to do. I avoided suggestions for so long because drugs and alcohol were my sole means of addressing the destructive thoughts ruminating constantly through my mind. The only other distraction from tormenting thoughts was during conversation with veterans who identified with my pain. For years I thought I was alone in my suffering. I was shocked to learn that others shared the same experiences. I have checked into multiple detoxes, rehab programs, and psych wards only to check out early to continue my self-abuse. The first inpatient program I ever completed was at the Battle Creek VA Medical Center. It was suggested by my family that I come to Michigan and attend there. That was in 2018. This was my first time sincerely wanting help from my mental issues. In fact, I finished all the inpatient sessions and eventually hired in as a federal housekeeping employee. But being left to my own devices proved costly and led to my using again and eventually returning to New York to continue my self-decline. In 2024, I experienced an overwhelming sense of doom in my apartment. It was as if death was riding my shoulders. There was a prevailing urgency to leave or die. After talking with my daughter, I returned to Battle Creek. The only difference this time was that I opened myself to suggestions. I wanted help. I wanted to live. Today, I feel a need to reach out and give back. I am compelled to listen to other veterans that might just need a place to vent. That is my purpose. Those are my intentions. As stated earlier, I am not a doctor. I am just a veteran who identifies with the pain and suffering other veterans like myself are going through. So, I would like to open this discussion by sharing with the listeners a poem I wrote detailing my personal struggle with PTSD. Before I begin, I want to first give recognition to my mentor and instructor, Harley, from GRTV, Grand Rapids TV, a person that without his patience and expertise, I would not be able to bring this podcast to you. Let's give him a big round of applause. Okay, thank you, Holly, for your input and knowledge. Your advice and instruction is highly valued by me. Now to the poem. This particular poem is a poem that I wrote. For years, I suffered from nightmares and from PTSD without even knowing how much my traumatic event had affected me. So, to appease the symptoms, I would normally write to myself and to express, my feelings. And this is one particular poem I wrote, directly dealing with PTSD. It's called Inclement Doom. I hope you guys like it. Inclement Doom. Scanning the summer skies of my fair weather soul, optimistic of forecasting when things went wrong. Suddenly, swarming dark clouds appeared, hovering invincibly over my terrified spirit, pelting my consciousness with golf ball-sized drops of guilt, composing staccato dreary storms of grief and despair. Thunderous lightning bolts crashed loudly, striking fear into my weakened self-esteem. Drenched and soaked, I sink cowardly, drowning in a swirling puddle of PTSD. Turbulent winds of doom fiercely blow funnels of depression. Coupled with anxiety, they pierce my vulnerable emotions like sharply honed icicles of torture. Tsunamis of confusion, tornado and twister my defenseless perceptions into obscure thoughts of suicide. At no time have I witnessed the tranquil of autumn leaves falling silently in the still of the night. Rather, viciously, I am swept into the raging eye of a hurricane of medication, never experiencing the gentle calm after the storm. My cruel existence lay buried beneath a blizzard of distorted thinking, restlessly awaiting the spring thaw of my snow-blind mind. Inclement doom. Okay, I hope you guys like that. Now let's open this up to discussion because I know there are veterans out there suffering, and I would like to hear from them, give them a place to vent, as well as, to identify with their pain and suffering. Show some empathy. Thanks a lot for joining.